It's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the racing capital of the world. Welcome to warm-up ahead of tonight's Indy Grand Prix, sponsored by Sonoso. Let's head down to our commentary team of Fox Sports with Will Buxton.
The weekend has unraveled so far here on the road course. Some people taking it a little bit too far, others really stretching the limits of their car and where they can brake, where they can find the limit, and it turned out for the Rahal team that would prove prescient.
Yeah, despite plenty of lockups and issues with the RLL drivers in practice, this was definitely DeFrancesco. We saw Graham Rahal in the grass earlier, but as drivers stretch the limits, you're right, Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan looking very fast this weekend, but even a six-time champion, James, having issues in turn 7.
Look, this is a track these drivers have a lot of experience at. You got to push those limits to find that ultimate performance, and these three did just that in qualifying. First time in team history, guys. All three RLL cars were in the Fast Six, but still nobody could touch Palou.
Palou, back-to-back pole positions. Let's have a look at how his statistics match up against arguably the greatest of all time over their first 86 races. 26 versus 14 wins, 11 versus 10 second places, an average finish of 6.8 to 7.5, 3 championships apiece. These are the drivers that we're looking out for today. James, you've picked Will Power.
Here's why. Will Power finally got the qualifying monkey off his back. No, he didn't make it into the Firestone Fast Six, but at least he got all the way up to P7. You look at Sundays, he's plus 23 positions so far on Sundays in races this year. Starting from 7th, he's won here more than anyone else in the history of this circuit. I got eyes on Power.
Townsend, you picked Scott.
And I picked Dixon for a reason. Today we have a different tire rule than we've ever had with the alternate tires. You've got to run 2 softs and 2 hard compound Firestones. When a new strategy plays out, there's nobody better than the 9 team and Scott Dixon. Who's your guy?
I picked VK, brilliant last time out at Barber Motorsports Park, picked up his first ever and so far only INDYCAR win on this very circuit. Starts way out of position today, so I'm expecting him to get his elbows out and make some moves. Welcome, folks, to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with me and him, where I'm Will, he's Townsend, and he's James, and warm-up has begun. Guys, it is great to be back at the racing capital of the world. We are here on the Goo Goo Dolls stage. We're the closest to heaven that I've ever been, and I don't want to go home right now.
Well, take a whiff of the excellence that surrounds us here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Do you mean James Hinchcliffe by that?
Well, it's lovely. Nicely done. We got cars ripping down this long front straightaway. It is Saturday of the Indianapolis Grand Prix, and we're about to find out if for the first time this season, can anybody really out-muscle Alex Palou. He starts on pole. He's been so dominant, but at the end of this long straightaway, James, is the heaviest brake zone all season. Sometimes they go 5 wide. It could create issues for Alex.
It absolutely could. And if you're starting pole here, you're almost at a little bit of a disadvantage because of how long that run is down to turn 1. The cars behind you get an awful big draft. We saw last year Dev DeFrancesco coming from 5th place. He took the lead with a ballsy outside pass into turn 1. Look, when you're starting pole here, you can almost be at a disadvantage.
Well, who did he pass?
He passed Graham Rahal,
who was also starting second, just as he is today.
And Graham is starting second. Yes, history is doomed to repeat itself.
But not, to my point, he not only passed, but he bumped Graham Rahal on the way in, and that's what we saw in the Indy next race yesterday. You know, a lot of opportunity for contact down there as it narrows down. But let's take a closer look at this Indy GP circuit. It starts with arguably a backwards run down the front straightaway here at Indy into that 90-degree turn 1. Heavy brake zone from 185 miles an hour.
So much of this racetrack is about compromise. How you take speed through turn 1 to set up for turn 2. How much entry speed in 4 to get the good run through the 5-6 chicane down this long back straight into turn 7. Top speed of 180 miles an hour in the SSERT bell. So much lap time.
You gotta moto those curbs heavy, 8, 9, and 10, and then a really important exit through the oval turn 2, going to the road course turn 12. Another heavy braking zone, and it leads to a wicked fast turn 14. Easy to make a big mistake there and lose your very important run down the front straightaway.
It's a great track. someone who's out there actually on track at the moment, not in the car. He has to wait another few days for that, for 500 practice. It's our very own, oh, actually, as we've got someone coming into pit lane. It's Ferrucci with smoke billowing out the back of his car.
And a lot of fluid on the racetrack on pit in right now.
So red flag is out for the 14, which is blown up out on track. He's managed to bring it back in. Let's get a replay here. A little look at what's gone down. Yeah, it's just right bank.
Right bank.
Uncharacteristic. We don't see those kind of failures at this stage. I mean, these engines have been in development for, you know, over a decade now. Both manufacturers doing a great job squeezing little bits more, but that's a pretty big one.
That's
you know, it's pretty atypical for what we've seen here.
The internals are now externals.
And guys, 20 minutes left in warm-up. You've got kitty litter probably going to go down over there. That's going to take a good 10 minutes to sort out right now. This is a really important warm-up to get a read on both used reds and the harder black tire. So we're going to have a real curveball going in the race with a lot of unknown.
We were going to throw to Jack Harvey, but there's no one going past him on track at the moment. So we'll just hold out on that. Jack, go get yourself a lemonade or something, and we'll come to you in a minute.
Well, look, guys, this is a big blow for Santino and the 14 crew. They've had some pretty good pace. They had some mechanical issues in practice, rebound really nicely in qualifying to get himself up into, was he 11th position. So that's a solid starting point. We know that he can muscle his way up there as well, but to lose this kind of track time with, like you say, Townsend, all this important tire data to gather, that's a big hit.
Yeah. Everybody's going to have to get jacked up for the race and ready to go. Speaking of jacks, let's fire off to somewhere in the S's, I think. How you doing out there, bud?
Good morning, lads. I'm actually just amongst the fans right now, and that's what always makes the Indianapolis Motor Speedway so special. I was going to say we're going to follow the cars on track. There's no cars on track. Really a bit of a bummer. But I just do love this whole section. Turn 7, probably the second. It may be the best overtaking spot. But 8, 9, 10, you talk about precision, accuracy. These drivers need to be absolutely on point. I love the way you see some different lines, the way they use all of the curbs. And in race scenarios, actually turn 10 can also be an overtaking spot, leading on to quite a long back straight into 12. One thing I'd love to just bring up to you guys, just for a talking point, we got a little bit of time now. Typically, the warm-up is about tire deg, fuel numbers, right? In this moment, though, Indy 500's on its way. Is it maybe low risk, high rewards who have an issue? Some of these teams, their backup cars are their Indy 500 cars. I'd just love to hear what you guys might think about that.
That's a really good point, Jack. That's a really good point.
Well, I mean, it's rare to see big issues, you know, in warm-up, but certainly heading into the race, we just talked about, you know, how chaotic it can be down into turn 1. If you are, well, I guess you're not going to have to go to your backup car once it's in the race. So, look, for warm-up, if there's kitty litter down on the track through a high-speed section there coming into 12 on the brakes and something goes wrong, that could spell disaster having to pull your 500 car out of the trailer.
It could. Right, we're going to head to break now just for a couple of moments. Rosenquist, your fastest driver of the few laps run from New Garden. Good to see. Oh, look. What an arm. No, what a terrible throw. No contract signing anytime soon for me.
So the red flag is out then, with 17 minutes to go here at the Brickyard. It's Felix Rosenquist who did manage to get a time in. He was a 1:27.362. Newgarden, Palou, and Armstrong and Schwartzman take up your top 5, but not the greatest to have a problem this early on for Santino Ferrucci, bringing out the red flag and exploding, just coming in to turn 12 at the backstretch. Looking at pit entry as well, and it wasn't on the start stretch. That would have been a drama come the race with having to clean the track up for oil there. And we saw how dusty it can be. And remember, 10 years ago when we had a start line crash here, how dusty that racing line got on the run in towards turn 1. Overtaking basically became an impossibility down there on the brakes.
You having fun?
Yeah, having a blast. Yeah, it's good. It's like riding a bike, man. Did this for like 20-some years.
Okay.
What's that?
Well, it's kind of like riding a bike. I did it for 20 years.
Yeah.
On the cup side.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Oh, so it's just a freewheel.
Having fun.
Okay,
Good as fun. Right?
Yeah. Bobby's in Laguna?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you talk?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Behind the scenes here that you're not getting to usually hear from Fox. It's gone away. Oh, that was quite interesting. Ooh. Okay, so just everyone watching as well, a reminder that we've got the 6 hours of Spa, 2 hours 20 left on that with the race heating up. Let's go back to box. Okay, we were expecting a Fox call there. We didn't get one. Will Power starts 7th in the Indianapolis 500, in the Indianapolis Grand Prix, I should say. Missed out on the Firestone Class 6. Right, here's Fox.
We are just a couple of days out from the start of practice week, qualifying and the run-in to the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. You can catch it all on Fox. The big race coming your way Sunday, May 25th, with coverage starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. Who of the 33 will kiss the bricks? Welcome back to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Welcome back to warm-up, where we are still under red flag. But what better time to bring in a good friend of ours, a man who has had a change in roles this year. Jay Fry, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Your motto, I can't actually say on air because it's very early in the morning.
There's a PG version too.
I will paraphrase it
Yeah.
as make something happen, get something done.
That's it.
It seems like you're doing that
Yeah.
already. What a performance from your guys this weekend. All three in the top 5. Sensational.
Yeah, well, that was amazing. I think somebody said yesterday that was the first time in the team's history that they did that. I think before they've had 2 cars, but not all 3. So just a magnificent day, magnificent effort. And it was really a pretty seamless day. I mean, it was one of those days that just everything went really well, went really right. So momentum is a real thing. You know, we got to capitalize on today's momentum.
I'm going to move this closer to your mouth because with the cars coming out, it gets very loud.
Hey, Jay,
This is unusual, yes.
we have fun on the set throwing football around in our spare time, and I can't help but see Roger Goodell and the commissioner's name on the football and think of you. You were the commissioner of this sport not too long ago, early February. You're the president. You're the boss of the series. You're the prison warden. Now you're a prisoner. You're like the Les Snead now. You're a general manager of RLL. What a bizarre swap. What's it been like for you?
Well, it's been amazing. You know, we had a really good 10-year run at INDYCAR. Very proud of what we accomplished. It was a great effort, but a paddock-wide effort. You know, again, a lot of really good things happened over the 10 years. Very proud of that. But this is kind of, remember I did this before in NASCAR for 20-some years, so it's kind of like riding a bike. We're back on the bike, having a lot of fun. The RLL group, that's really hard to say, RLL, you know. It's a great group of people. There's a great team, great history, you know, amazing ownership, amazing commitment from the ownership group. So it's all there, right? We just got to capitalize on that.
Big changes to the group over the winter, though. I was talking to the gang before the season started. Obviously, 2 new drivers in Deb and Louis, but also behind the scenes as well in terms of management, even before you came on board, in terms of mechanics and engineers and crew chiefs. How much has your experience been able you to help meld that team together?
Well, it's something that obviously we're working on every day. When I got there, it was very simple. I mean, there was no uncomfortable moment in any way. I already knew a lot of the people. I knew a lot of the people by name. And then you know how it works out here. You knew a lot of the people by face, but you might not know their name. You know people by their nickname, but you don't know their name. And there was a handful of people I didn't know. So it's been great getting to know everybody. Again, there's a really good group of people there. And one of the things we did, talk about football, one of the first team meetings we had, we played the clip from Any Given Sunday, the inches speech, Al Pacino, where there's inches everywhere. You got to go get them. So that's really motorsports and what we got to do in general. We got to go get these inches. So we were fortunate enough to get them yesterday. But again, the sport is also very humbling. You know, we were 4/10 off the big prize, so that's pretty humbling. So again, we got a ways to go, but a really good group of people. We've got some great partners. Again, great commitment from the ownership group, so we're gonna be okay.
Jay, I got to work very closely with you in your previous role when I was in my previous role, and for me, one of the things that always stood out was you always had a plan. You had your 1-year plan, you had your 3-year plan, you had your 10-year plan. You're in this role now with RLL. What's the plan? How do we help bring this team up from an occasional, you know, day like we had yesterday to regularly getting all 3 cars in the Fast 6 fighting for wins?
Well, thank you. Again, that's something we're working on, because remember when we first got to IndyCar, it took us about 6 months to come up with a plan for 17 and beyond. So, again, the cool thing about it is it's all there. I mean, the facility is you know, I've been to every Cup shop in the you know, here in F1 shops all over the world. The facility is second to none. It's amazing. It's, you know, the commitment is amazing. So it's all there. Again, it's just, again, the inches speech kind of sums it up. There's all these little things around us. We just got to go get them. And again, there's a really good group of people that can do that. So we've been there a month, I guess, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We're going to have a really exciting announcement next week. So something that we've already started to work on that could hopefully continue the momentum we got from this weekend. So we should be in good shape.
So Jay, let's talk about the plan today. Alex Palou in a league of his own right now. The next 6 cars are 3 RLL and 3 Team Penske. Think about that. You versus Team Penske for best of the rest right now. Any extra motivation for you knowing that you guys are going up against the best?
Well, the motivation is obviously to get all 3 of our cars through turn 1 first, right? You got to do first things first. So, you know, that's, again, it's amazing to have our 3. Again, I mentioned earlier, I think that we've never done that before, this team, to have all 3 cars in the Fast 6, the Firestone Fast 6. So that's spectacular. Again, we got to capitalize on that achievement from yesterday. Today, it's a new day. We got to get through turn 1 together, you know, cleanly, and just let it rip from there.
Are your guys ready to fight?
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Love that. Jay, thank you for your time. If anyone can make something happen and get something done, this man right here. We'll be right back for more warm-up here in Indianapolis.
Less than 10 minutes to go then. Alex Palou is top at the moment with a 1:10.973. Scott McLaughlin is second, 1:11.528 as things stand. Pato Award. Now, Kiffin Simpson impressing us and going up into second place, 1:11.001. Still Palou top, and he's got that provisional pole position, of course. He's got pole for today's race. Gets underway. 9:30 British Summer Time. We're on air for that one. It's going to be a very, very late night. Scott Dixon in 11th and Scott McLaughlin in 3rd, and Colton Herter comes into the pit lane now. Bumping and balling, here comes Rosenquist. Really enjoying the way the circuit's brewing at the moment, as we see coming through into turn 10. Out of 11 and through now up towards turn 12, which is through on the bankings at the exit of 1. And if anyone's watching the other side of our broadcast, which is the World Endurance Championship, the second United Autosports McLaren has now slung it into the barrier to bring out yet another safety car or full course yellow as things stand. Riding now, still with Will Power. Caught up with Aston Martin, okay. There's a virtual safety car coming to stop the session. Down into turn 1 for Power. Nice and easy slipstream runs he's doing at the moment. Palou, Simpson, McLaughlin, Award, Foster, top 5. Louis Foster doing an amazing job right now. It'll be interesting to see what he can do in the race later on. Before, just a reminder of our coverage as well. Live for every single second of the Indianapolis 500. All practice live with timings here on JB Motorsports. It's going to be amazing. Power still sliding around out there on the circuit. And talk to another driver while we've been on ad break from Fox. Here the engine revving up as he comes into the braking zone for turn 12. Let's go back over to Fox. Inside INDYCAR GP.
Welcome to the newly renovated Indianapolis Museum. How are you enjoying this so far?
Thank you. It's beautiful. I think the first time I was here was back in 2021 for my first race, and this is the first time I'm back here since then, and obviously seeing the changes is pretty awesome.
You've gotten off to a fantastic start to the season. What do you think you've done specifically to just cut that learning time so quickly?
A fast car is a fast car, right? And if you go from a fast car to a faster car, naturally the results will come. I was vocal in the off-season that I didn't really care about what results we were going to get. It was more just I wanted to be competitive at every single event, and I mean, so far we've done pretty well.
Your first IndyCar race was here. Your first IndyCar pole position was here. Is this the weekend we see you win your first race for McLaren?
I hope so. I was on a good roll from back then, you know, IndyGP being the one track, but also I wanted to answer the question to everybody, is this the only track that he can race at? And we answered that by winning Toronto back in 2023, but my cabinet at home has a third and a second. It doesn't have a first. To trade that off for a win here, I would definitely take that, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to show up this weekend and try to win.
On the podium here last year for Christian Lundgaard starts the day from P14. He is second in the championship, but with work to do. Alex Palou still the fastest guy out on track. Kiffin Simpson, who is having a real turnaround in form over these last 2 weekends, is second quickest. Then it's McLaughlin. Ward. My boy Louis Foster up in fifth again. And looking good out there on track. We will be back for the last 5 minutes of practice.
Well, they won't, will they? Because there's 5 minutes to go now. They've just gone to get another ad break. What is it with Fox? Ad break, ad break, ad break, ad break, ad break. It's a bit ridiculous for their warm-up session to go in. On board with Scott Dixon then, down across the line. His last lap time was a 1:14.482 on the board. It's not the fastest time, but still a slightly consistent run on those red tyres. Dropping off 2 seconds per lap, it looks like. Really running over the curbs like crazy. I suppose that's what we like. It's the action zone you always like to see, don't you? Really building it up nicely. Just enjoying listening to him go mad at the moment. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's a good run actually around for him on that. Last lap time for Dixon puts him up into 4th place now, 1:11.035, so he was 3 seconds faster than what he previously did just a few seconds ago. They are absolutely loving this right now. All of the action, all of the intrigue that we are witnessing. I hope you're enjoying it back at home as well, as we've got loads of coverage still coming your way. The British Touring Car Championship, WEC and INDYCAR at the same time. Tomorrow it's all going to be the same. NASCAR, the Truck Series race comes your way this evening. For more of the same. Checker flag's going to be out soon. Let's head back to Fox so they can wrap up their warm-up session coverage.
Problems for Andretti, namely for Kyle Kirkwood and also for his teammate Colton Herta. First time this season that we have seen not a single Andretti car make it into the top 12 in qualifying, and their weekend goes from bad to worse. Lucky, I suppose, guys, that we have such a long time between warm-up and the race running at 4:30 p.m. local time this afternoon, but this is not what they need.
No, this is the kind of thing that has plagued Andretti a little bit over the last few years. Some mechanical gremlins, sometimes electrical problems a couple years ago at this point in the season. This is not what they need. If you think back to Long Beach, Kirkwood dominating second in the championship, closing on Palou. Now they're nowhere on pace, and issues in warm-up as Colton Herta has to climb out.
Then conversely, you've got Chip Ganassi racing 1, 2, 3 in warm-up right now. And look, we see Colton Herta now out of the car, only 2 minutes to go in the session, way down there in 26 on the charts. But guys, you know, we talk about execution, teams doing a great job, what CGR is doing right now. And I know we talk about maybe not looking too much into the warm-up times. At the same time, you got to be comfortable in your race car, and to have all three of them right up there is great. As Lundgaard now goes
I was going to say, as Andretti struggles, it seems like McLaren, specifically Christian Lundgaard, continues to go from strength to strength with 3 podiums so far on the season.
And what a sensation he's been this year. We've talked about it, of course, in the practice shows and in the races. Stepping into a new team, unfamiliar surroundings, getting into a car ostensibly built around Pato O'Ward, having to amend his driving style to get to grips with that car. He's doing a great job so far this season. You're right on board with him now, courtesy of Mission Foods. Top man. He currently will be starting, I say currently, he's starting whether it's currently or not, 14th in the race today.
But like Barber, what I really like about how Christian Lundgaard approaches this session is he's so focused on race, handling, anticipating the balance of the tires. It paid off at Barber, as we see thanks to Splenda, this great view, the driver's eye view of Christian Rasmussen with Ed Carpenter Racing. Starts 19th today. His teammate Alexander Rossi, another strong qualifying up there in the top 10. Rossi will start 9th.
You picked Dixon as your man to watch today with that kind of a pace. P2 at the moment. He's looking all right.
Yeah, Dixon, my driver to watch. And again, it'll be a sleeper kind of day, meaning Dixon will never do anything spectacular. And by the time we get to the last 15 laps, we'll be like, wait a second, Dixon's in the top 5. How'd he do that?
We'll get to that final stint, and all of a sudden, yeah, we're just like, wait a minute, we haven't spoken about this guy all day. It's exactly what Pelot did at St. Pete.
And this, of course, is the intention of the new tire rules for this weekend. If you're just tuning in for the first time this weekend, folks, new tire rules mean that all drivers will have to make a minimum of 3 stops. You have to run at least 2 sets of the soft and 2 sets of the hard during the Soncio Grand Prix this afternoon. We could get any number of diverging strategies that lead into a final 10-15 laps where we do finally know what that order might be.
Yeah, and I think turn 1's going to tell us everything. Is there a caution? Is there a pile-up? Does it run clean like this season has for almost every lap, save for the first lap at St. Pete? If there's a caution at the beginning and somebody can bail off that tire requirement, you only need to do 2 laps. That's basically 1 time by and in. That's where things could get really fun today.
Newgarden to the top as the warm-up comes to a close for Team Penske. From Lundgaard, Dixon, Pelot, and Simpson. Newgarden will be running off today in P6.
And so far, we've seen a nice mix of drivers on the hard tires, on the soft tires, trying to get some degradation numbers for both of those sets. They need to learn how long these tires are going to last. We have a feeling, based on historical data here, that it is going to be a red tire race. That's going to be the preferred tire. So you've got to run 2 sets, but you've got to suffer through 2 sets at least of the hard compound as well, and that's the big curveball.
But as we saw last time out, and as we see increasingly, Alex Pelot seemingly able to run the same lap times, whether he's running hard or soft, old or new, low fuel, high fuel, just consistent.
Yeah, and Marcus Armstrong told me yesterday that looking at, remember they've got the partnership with Chip Ganassi Racing, looking at Pelot's data, he just said it's freakish. I don't even know how he's doing it. Let's head back down to pit lane. Jack, you got an update?
Yeah, just on the 26th of Colton Herter, spoke to Rob Edwards, his strategist. They had a shifting issue. Didn't really elaborate any more on it other than that. But when we were talking about drivers to watch today, I think the whole Andretti team might be my team to watch. They all seem a little bit out of place right now.
Interesting. Shifting issues, car not shifting out of pit lane. Been sat there for quite a while. The session now over. Let's take a little look back at what happened in the session. Of course, one of the big moments, Santino Ferrucci engine went bang. Big blow up for him, brought out the first red flag of the session.
Interesting pit exit situation here. That's not going to be something we'll see in a race. I think you're going to be 10-10ths out of there as we see Colton Herter's crew trying to push him through the shifting issue that he's having. Only 2 laps on the board for him. Same for his teammate Kyle Kirkwood.
Kirkwood having a jump out there with other driveline issues seemingly.
The 5-lap average. Haha, my pick of the day, Renus VK. at the top of the pile from Alex Palou, Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, and Marcus Ericsson. Does that give us some inclination, some idea, guys, of what we can expect this afternoon?
Really tough to say. It's a mixed bag on tire tech. But listen, it's a good pick. I'll give it to you. Top of the charts. It's been an impressive start for Rinus VeeKay with his new team and Dale Coyne Racing.
Tell me that at the end of the day. What can this man do, though? Last weekend, he blasted everything. Pole position, fastest lap, race win, untouchable and unbeatable. If he wins today, it will be 4 from 5. That has really been done in the history of this series. Next on FS1, Moto America, King of the Baggers Rewind, Road Atlanta. Join us for the race, 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
You know where to be. Join us then for the action. Thanks for your company. We'll see you later for the action. Bye-bye.